I must tell you, this has never happened before. 3 fights after weigh-ins, prior to the card being shuffled, and everybody stays on the card. I just don't know of a time that happens. And I go back a long time in MMA. I had some events that were really great ones. The Affliction organization. I had a lot of fun with that, but Affliction ended up canceling a card and folded up the business, sadly. Josh Barnett was supposed to take on Fedor. They lost that main event. There was no one to shuffle. There was nobody to step in. Your roster wasn't deep enough. I can't remember a time in UFC's history where they ended up in a situation like this, and it was better, at least for me. I was pumped, just to give you a great example, to watch Conor McGregor fight Jose Aldo. Conor McGregor had built that up, and this was such a great thing. But when Chad Mendes stepped in, I remember my anticipation going up. I can't tell you why. There's something about that last-minute swerve, right? You ever watch a movie and you get that change at the end? Like, there's something about that we, the audience, like, and a lot of promotions can't do it. And a lot of guys have come together, and a lot of guys have stepped forward to make this happen. But when I look at this main event, when I look at 2 guys who not only aren't in a title fight, they're not contenders. This isn't a number 1 contenders match. I mean, there's so many moving parts there. Whatever happened to that? Prior to Leon knocking out Kamaru Usman, and make no mistake here, guys, the big winner of this whole thing isn't just us, the fans, because we're getting these fights that we really want. The biggest winner at the end of the day, for sure, is Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman takes a kick. He was supposed to win that fight. I'm talking about the odds makers. Things change fast in our sport. He's supposed to win that fight. Now he's supposed to get his opponent. His opponent is supposed to be the winner of Chimaev versus Diaz. And of course, there's a big asterisk there as long as that's Chimaev and he looks great. But this story's still real. This story is still happening. Kamaru Usman takes a shin to the forehead. Leon becomes the champion. And before Kamaru can get named as number 1 contender to his own belt, obviously he's the number 1 contender when it has to do with his own belt. Before that can get said, we got a big problem, which is we've already told the world the winner of Diaz versus Chimaev becomes the number 1 contender. So what do we do? What did we do? The community do? Because you guys are guilty of it too. We all did it. Every one of us did it the same thing. We avoided the topic. We didn't touch the topic. You bring up Kamaru, and Kamaru should fight Leon. Oh boy, Kamaru sure was good, and boy, he was looking good until that kick came. But none of us came forward and said, yeah, absolutely, for sure, stop the music. It's Kamaru and Leon in a rematch. That did not happen. That didn't happen anywhere. Even Leon wasn't put in that position, God bless him. But he wasn't put in that position to answer for that. He was not put in the position to sidestep whatever was going to happen between his former nemesis. And I'm including Chimaev as a nemesis because Chimaev and Leon was signed and done. It ended up getting interrupted. Chimaev, I apologize, Diaz and Leon ends up happening. These are his opponents. And Leon had every right to keep his mouth shut and to observe what was going to happen. Because Leon didn't make that rule. That was rule and was stated that this is the number 1 contendership. I'm just asking you guys, what do you do now? What do you do now? And this has been tested a number of times where a guy is going into a number 1 contendership, okay, in UFC history. He won the fight. He won the fight that we were all told if he wins, he goes on. He got beat by the scale the day before. And that number 1 contendership goes goodbye. It has to. You cannot miss weight and then go into a world title fight. It is a problem. The first time, this is off the top of my head, but I'm pretty good at this, that this has ever happened or been booked is still in front of us, which is going to be Charles Oliveira fighting for a championship at a weight class that he just failed to make. The game just isn't played this way. Vincent Luque was brought into Madison Square Garden to be the backup fighter for Colby Covington versus Kamaru Usman Part 2. Luque was brought in very quietly. Nobody talked about it. The media didn't leak it. His team didn't leak it. Nobody knew until the weigh-in on Friday when Luque walked through the curtain. And when he did, we're going, what's he doing here? Luque must be lost. I mean, that's really what we thought. We go, oh, wait a minute. No, this is the backup guy. He's in a great backup position, which history says, go ask Michael Chandler, which history says, go ask Kamaru Usman. If you go do that job, you then get the official nod down the line. And Luque didn't get it. I don't begrudge Luque. I'm just trying to tell this story accurately because it's important. And the reason why Luque was on a 7-fight streak and was a great choice to be the backup guy. Luque was a great choice to headline Madison Square Garden, but he missed weight. The backup fighter missed weight by 2 pounds, and his next fight was not a championship fight. I bring this to you because we can't just put a Band-Aid on this Chimaev situation. If Chimaev goes out and looks awesome against Holland, and that means something, right? Kevin Holland is a pain in anybody's ass. If Chimaev can not only pull it off, but he looks great, we can't just revive the talk of him becoming a #1 contender or of him going into a championship match. And we can't just say, well, to hell with it, that it'll be at 185 pounds. I mean, that's just not the way this is played. Those are fun things to say. It's not the way that it's played. We've got no clarity from yesterday to today. We got a whole bunch of chaos and we got a whole bunch of fun to look forward to, unless you're Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman just got his rematch. And then what are you going to do with Chimaev if he looks great? This isn't our problem, guys. We don't get to just go solve this. But don't buy in to the story that a doctor stopped Chimaev. 9 o'clock rolled around, he's either on weight or he's not. And if you want to play with me and talk about a half a pound, you want to get really gross and detailed and say that the guy has a full batter and he likes to take a pee in the morning, you can play all of these things. If the guy is 8 pounds overweight, he did not make weight. He is not going to make weight. We got a lot of chaos in front of us. We got a lot of fun. We got some damn good matches. But make no mistake, we do have clarity. Kamaru Usman is getting his rematch.